Now to a disturbing trend in America: violence and discrimination against Asian Americans. In New York, a 56-year-old Asian American man was beaten on the subway. In Los Angeles, an Air Force veteran was attacked in the street. And in Atlanta, investigators continue to examine race as a possible motive in a shooting that killed 8 people.
We had 4 Asian females that were killed. And so we are looking at everything to make sure that we discover and determine what the motive of our homicides were.
And to find out if this troubling national trend is being experienced here in Northeast Wisconsin, NBC 26's Eric Crest spoke with local advocates on the issue.
For much of the pandemic, the YWCA of Greater Green Bay has held a monthly webinar to discuss racism in our community.
This country says that they're the melting pot, and it's just, we don't represent that. We say it, but we don't really represent that.
Suzanne WITTMAN of the YWCA sees less opportunities for people of color, not enough folks embracing our differences, and perhaps most disturbingly, an increased level of fear within portions of her race.
You don't feel completely safe, which is very unfortunate.
She says during the pandemic, many Asian Americans have experienced an increase in discrimination, and while often it isn't violent, it can be offensive.
A lot of Asians are born here, they're American, and we shouldn't be treated like we're outsiders, and it's unfortunate. One
way advocates try to combat this trend is to talk about the problem.
Call out your friends and family who may be saying things that are really misguided and misdirected.
Andrea Huygenvik says she's heard countless stories of borderline hate directed at Asian Americans from the community.
We were hearing stories from people who said, I was at the park with my kid and somebody called me a name. Or I was, at the grocery store and someone told me to go back to China.
Huygenvik says acknowledging our community's differences is one of the first steps a person can take in understanding someone. But she and others know that a community has to make the effort for real change to occur.
I think we'd be pleasantly surprised that we have a lot more in common than we do different.
In Green Bay, Eric Crest, NBC 26.